We go to Orlando, Florida, where Stephanie is on the line. Stephanie, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, how are you today?
I am
for taking my call.
Well, sure. How can I help?
Well, my husband and I are expecting another child in February, and at that time, I'm not going to return back to work. And I was recently just looking online, looking at cotillion classes, because I took them when I was a kid. And I was wondering what age they started and all that information. I realized there wasn't one in my area. And I was like, oh, let me look into this, or let me look more. And kind of looked around, and then it was like, do you want to become a director and start your own chapter? And so I kind of, filled out an application. They reached back out to me. They would like to speak to me and move forward. Or we already talked and discussed it. And it kind of seems like a really easy franchise to start your own business, and it would be 7 Sundays a month or 7 Sundays a year for the classes. But the thing is, you'd have to get 50 kids per class, and you'd want to do at least 2. Maybe the first year. So that'd be the issue, getting the kids. And
what kind of business is this? You broke up when you said it, and I was just listening. I didn't want to interrupt you. What are we talking about?
Oh, it's a cotillion. It's like etiquette and dance.
Oh, cotillion. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you're saying that you got to have 50 kids a class for this business to make sense.
Right, 50 kids a class, and you probably want to do at least 2 to 3. And you might not do that the first year, but to continue it and grow, that's what you would want each year. Like,
what's your question for me?
Well, my question is do you think it's like, before I jump into it, I just didn't know if this was still like an important thing in people's lives, or if it would be something that, I'm scared of failing, obviously.
Yeah, right.
And, I just didn't know if it's a good idea for start.
Well, what's the capital outlay? For you to get going, what kind of money would it cost you to get this up and running?
Well, they don't really collect money until you get registrations.
Okay. But what happens if you launch one and you get 10 kids instead of 50? You're in the hole big time? Or are they taking a piece of every registration? So it's kind of there's no huge risk here for you. It's just you're paying them a percentage of whatever you attract. What's the situation?
Yeah, there's a little fee for the franchise fee. It's like $3 to $6K, depending on how many schools you want to be in your area.
Okay.
And then it's 10% of every registration fee.
Okay.
And then you have to pay for the rentals. So if you have it at a church or that, and then a little bit of that, cookies and punch, and then that would be basically and then the rest would be yours.
Right. Well, what are you charging per kid? Do you know the number? What would the charge be? Do they have a recommended?
It's from like $300 to $350 for the 7 classes. Okay,
so this is a simple thing. So I'm glad you called, because there's really nothing to be afraid of. What you're afraid of is this unknown question that every entrepreneur has: is this thing going to work? And I think that's the wrong question. Because as an entrepreneur, to do this essentially on the side as now a stay-at-home mom, the risk is relatively little, because if you save up the money, so let's take the $3,000 to $6,000. So you're not even gonna think about starting this until you've saved it up. So just save it up. It's not going to take you that long to save up $3,000 to $6,000. So we're going to save that up. While we're saving that up, you need to be talking to people that are in this space. Who's done this in your area? Who's doing it? We've got to see what the market is, and then do some more research. These people who essentially would sell you this franchise, they know the demographics that are necessary for a cotillion class or a cotillion school to thrive. This is going to be upper income. It's going to be upper middle class to upper income. I know that without even thinking about it. But you need to do some market research and have them give you some of these answers before you commit to this. I think that's the least they can do, and they should be able to do that. So then you go do your homework on this, and you go, okay, great. So I am in an area, or I'm close enough to an area that would support this demographically, and I know it's going to take $3,000 to $6,000 for the initiation, and then I'm going to do some homework on places that I would use as my venues, and I'm going to find out from them what they would charge me. And then I'm going to think about what would my food thing be, and I'm going to have a general idea, and I'm going to put a budget on this. This is what my budget's going to be to run one of these classes. And you get all those numbers on paper. You're looking at them. And then you go, okay, if it's $300 to $350, let's split the difference on the ticket, or let's go low. Let's be smart and go low. So on a $300 ticket for a kid to do this, you're going to pay 10% to the company. Okay, so that leaves $270, and then you are going to subtract your rental and your food and beverage and all that stuff, and we see what we got left. And then you go, how many kids do I have to get to make this make sense? It's not so scary. We've got clear goals. So that's how you get this thing launched.